Good morning, traders. It's Trader Rob. Today is Friday, September 5th. We got some high impact news coming up in the markets here in about 11 minutes. Most importantly, we got U.S. non farm payroll, which is, yesterday all the high impact news really didn't cause much of a commotion in the market. But today's non farm payroll should be pretty volatile part of the session here. So we'll take a look at that. All the setups. I stopped trading after the ES trade yesterday. I had some appointments I had to get to, but all the setups that I had left you guys here with yesterday, all really would have panned out really nicely. So we'll get into that. The results of the challenge from yesterday, day 4 today. Let's get it. As always, nothing that I state on my channel is financial advice. Trading futures or any type of trading is risky business. Any capital that is put out there is at risk for loss. All right, so first of all, let's just quickly scan yesterday. If we drop down, let's drop down to the 1 minute. And let's bring this sucker down. All right, so I left you guys with a setup. Yesterday, remember this one? This one was at the 23,598. Had called out 2 TPs. First TP I knew would be very, very easy. They, in fact, both ended up hitting TPs really, really easy. And if you guys, I don't know if you guys were watching the market, obviously, during that time, but really big spike to the upside. Hit the high volume node right here and had a nice little rejection there for TP1 and TP2. Our other signal would have gotten into the entry right here, and let's see. I think it might. Let's see. It might have even come close. All right, so that signal would not have panned out right here. Let's see. Hits right here. I thought on the NQ this one hit TP1, if I'm not mistaken. But on the MNQ, which is what I'm trading right here, it looked like it came a little short of TP1. This was not an official signal that I gave to my members, but I did give this signal right here for a really nice win there on the MNQ. I should say the NQ. As far as let's drop down here just so we can take a look at those trades. Consolidate the chart here. All right, so this one, this is a trade we took yesterday. I took this one live, obviously, and you guys saw that on the video from yesterday. Entry at the 64.78, TP1, TP2. Really nice trade. Pretty much, maybe could have got maybe a point more out of that one, but that would have been a pretty, I think I mapped that one out absolutely perfect. And then if I jump into the 5 minute, just so we can kind of see the setups. We never tapped into the signal here, or I should say the signal, the setup that we mapped out at the 64.51. We've got another one sitting down here at the 64.17. So price action has not revisited that area yet. But let's take a look and see what, so I can delete this one off my chart. Let's jump to the 60 minute and then let's see if there's any setups for today. Now I will mention a few things. ES currently is in all-time highs. Okay, and that presents a tricky situation for volume traders like myself, where we don't have much market movement, market data, transactions in this high, in these new highs yet. Okay, so it's going to be very difficult for me to find any type of setups above where we currently are, where we've been at probably for the last 12 hours. I'm going to still have to look down to find high volume nodes below me on the ES currently. Okay, so the setups, when you start pushing this high, they start to kind of they diminish as far as being a volume trader. So I just want to point that out. Obviously, we've got a pretty high volume pocket right here. Yes, we do have a high volume pocket there. We've got another high volume pocket, I would say, right here to here. I already have that one marked out. Yeah, I already got that one marked out from yesterday. All right, so these are the two areas that we'd be interested in right now. We already have two setups below. We've got that 64.51 and the 64.17 number that we're looking at. But let's take a look at the 15-minute. Let's see what we see here. All right, we got a 15-minute level right here at the 64.60. We've got another nice little level right here at the 64.76. All right, I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough on the ES. We've already got this area nicely mapped out already. Let's jump into the 5-minute. All right, so we found our 15-minute level. Kind of coincides with it, but what do we see here in the volume profile? Big node right here. I actually like to position myself on this 5-minute level. Let's see. Just going to dot it for right now on the 5-minute at the 64.81. I like that. What else do we see? What else do we see? That's it. That is it. So I like to position myself above this node right here. As far as a stop loss would be concerned, I would say almost right at that 64.74, and then take profit areas. Probably target right here and right at the top of this node right here. Those would be some pretty easy targets, I would assume. So let's make this dotted. Make this one dotted. Green. And then our stop loss. We've got that in red, dotted. All right, so you kind of see the plan here. Using this super high volume peak right here as an area of an entry. You can almost, yeah, I like that right there. And then I'm looking for very easy non-resistance to get to my TP1 and my TP2. And then I've got this big boulder here, big dam left for my stop loss. Okay, so that's a trade setup that I can see on the ES. And then if we jump into the NQ, actually, you know, let me just take a look really quick and see what volume. All right, so we've got a lot of volume sitting at the 85. At the 85. So actually right where my TP is at. Let's see if there is anything We are at 81. Yeah, actually I like this. I like this setup a lot right here. All right, let's jump into the NQ. Let's go to the 60 minute. All right, we can clean up this chart here a little bit. We can delete these guys. And we've already tapped into all of those. Arm Farm payroll report just hit. This might be a little nutty. All right. Even though my charts are going to be going like nuts right now, but let's take a look. High volume node right here. We got a big chunk right here too. A big high volume node right here. We got these already marked up as setups. Let's take a look and see what we see here. That looks kind of interesting. I think we can maybe include this peak right here too. Yeah. All right. Let's go into the 15 minute. And what do we got? All right, we got a level right here. We got a 15-minute level right here. And again, it's hard for me just to go over every single day what the levels that I'm looking for. There's a video just in the description below that shows you exactly. I'm just looking for V-shape, big movement out, break of structure areas, and I like to use the bodies. I do not use the wicks. What else do we have? All right, I think we've got this area mapped out. We've got this area mapped out. All right, let's go see what, let's see here really quickly. Nothing there. All right, let's jump into the 5 minute. All right, so our 15-minute levels do match up pretty closely here with our 5-minute level. We've got a bunch of 5-minute levels that we could use, including this guy right here. He looks to be positioned in an area that looks kind of interesting based on the profile there. We're getting right in front of that, right on top of that node. An area right there on the 5-minute. So we got a level right there at the 23,505. We got 23,552, both in areas that are above the high volume node. Remember, obviously we're below price action, so we're looking now for an area where volume is going to have a reaction to the upside. So if I was to kind of come in and formulate a plan, I like the ledge right here. Right there is a nice little ledge. But you know what? We might have a right there, I think is a great spot. Easy, no time resistance. First one would be right here for sure. That's 10 points. I like it. Dotted. Second one. This one might be a little bit. This one might be a little bit more challenging because now you're starting to see price action now. Volume starting to come out and extend. I actually want to see it in a descending. I don't want to see this sticking out. I would rather see it on a slanted inward style on the profile, which would just mean that it would just want to slide right down into that TP2. So this one might have a little bit of resistance to get to. Probably would target maybe right in the middle of this area. And then as far as a stop loss, this guy seems to be positioned pretty well. We could probably tighten this guy up a little bit. Right around there. Huge level of defense between entry, stop loss. Easy areas for TP1 and TP2. So that's the setup that I would be looking at here on the NQ. And then obviously we still have the setups there from yesterday down below. As far as our mechanical strategies yesterday, we took a trade in oil for a nice 17-tick winner. No trade yesterday for the 15-minute Rob reversal. So that's currently Rob reversals up 70 points for the challenge. And we are now actually positive on both funded accounts with both strategies. Obviously, the discretionary, my levels trades, has got the clear advantage as of right now. But I'm going to monitor price action here. Hopefully we get a nice little setup and stick around for the trades. All right, took a nice winner there on the ES. So as I mentioned in the video, I had an entry at 64.81. I was targeting, I was actually targeting right in between the take profit 1 and take profit 2. I had set my ATM. I actually, because it was not in front of the charts, I don't really recommend that, but I had an appointment that I could not miss. So I had set my target to 4 points, which is the strategy you guys saw that was loaded on here. And it worked out actually pretty damn perfect. A little bummed out that I even said that TP2 might be a little bit of a challenge right through this node right here. But just to kind of get the risk to reward a little bit better. Came really close actually to tap it into our 64.86. And then giving you guys the other one that I was looking at, 64.51. That one I did not have an order placed on here. I was not in front of the chart, so I would not have been able to take this one. But this one came about 3 ticks away from entering for a perfect win. This gets invalidated at this point because the original thesis was completely correct, but just missed the entry there a little bit. So you could see it tapped into this little volume peak. And obviously, if I would have been looking at Bookmap and looking at where volume was kind of stacking up, I wouldn't probably be able to make that adjustment looking at it. But again, I just wasn't in front of the charts. So with that 4-point ES winner up $100 today, 4 days. 4 days through the challenge, 4 trades, 4 A+ setups, 100% winning rate on the discretionary side. The mechanical rule-based strategies did not fare out so well today. Let me show you guys those. Oop, not that one. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. So you can see we had a loser in oil session 2. We had a loser in gold. And then we also had a loser in the 15-minute Rob reversal. So like I told you guys yesterday, I mean, you get a day like today where all three strategies lose, it's going to be it's going to hurt a little bit. But again, it's a sample size over an entire month, and I've got back testing data going back almost 3 years on these three strategies, and they all have figured out a way to bounce back at one point or another in the month. So, but that does give my discretionary levels a slight advantage, obviously, because the mechanical strategies are built off of rules and conditions that I have obviously back tested, and over a large sample size, they have a statistical edge still. When you bring discretionary, I can bring in real-time data and see different areas that obviously a rule-based strategy that is very mechanical cannot. And that's the main difference for this challenge that I wanted to show. Not to say that I'm going to outtrade the three strategies. I hope both of the strategies actually end up in profit. It would actually be great from the funded account. But I just wanted to kind of compare and contrast the differences that you see. And then I want to show you the NQ. Let's bring this to 5 minutes should be good enough. All right. So remember, we had this entry that I was looking at the 23,910. First of all the signals that we've taken today, I've shared all of the signals with my signal group on Discord. And we've taken wins on every single one of them as soon as the strategy is loaded up here. So what you're seeing me trade is actually what you see me trade every single day. And it's the exact type of signals that I provide to my Discord group. So there's not much difference that I'm taking on the challenge that I wouldn't take in my normal trading. And this was a signal as well that I provided to the group, and I invalidated the signal because, as you can see, we came up to this point 3 times, maybe about four times on the 5 minute. And volume was, I even said it in the beginning video, volume was stacking up hard at the 23,900. As you can see, we had a huge reaction to the downside. That was actually a big part of that move to the downside. Obviously, we got some pretty ugly economic data today. But again, it's what volume is showing me. Now, the 23,910 number started to have about, I think at one point it had them at the max 30 contracts. In comparison, the 23,902 had about 170 contracts stacked up here. But as we started to tap into this area, I wanted to see if this would have been in the new area that they wanted to defend, and it wasn't. What I actually saw was volume dropping, contracts dropping, and it just, to me, just did not seem like a very safe area. So I invalidated the trade on my signal service, and I would not have taken that trade there today. Now, let's see what would have happened over here. Again, I wasn't in front of the charts for this trade. Let's jump to the 1 minute. Let's see what happened here. See if that would have been a winner or a loser. I don't know. Looks like it would have been a loser. Ooh, it would have been really close. All right, so looks like we would have tapped into our entry at 23,552. Looks like you would have missed TP1 by probably a point before getting stopped out. So that was a good one to have obviously missed. And again, I don't necessarily know. When I came up with this, it was about 7 a.m. in the morning. This finally hit at about 10 a.m. And volume could have obviously adjusted at that point. I don't know. I wasn't in front of the charts. So maybe this does get invalidated, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it would have been a signal. Actually, what am I talking about? This would have hit right here. Yeah, the signal would have. Oh, dang it. Sorry, I was looking at this bar, but your entry would have been on this candle right here. Let's drop it down to the 10-second. Let's just see what would have happened. I love this stuff. I really do. All right, let's see. Yeah, 10-second shows it a little bit easier, nicer. So you tap into your entry here, and yeah, you hit TP1 very quickly, 10 seconds actually. Probably less than 10 seconds. And then, yeah, you missed TP2 by probably a point and a half. And then you get stopped out. So still would have been a decent trade. 10 points there. So yeah, that's what I got. Let me bring up the funded ticks, funded accounts. We'll start off with the ugly right now. So this is the rule-based mechanical strategies. It's currently down $156 for the 4 days of the challenge so far. Let's see. We've got a average win of 61, average loss of 46. We've got what else? So we've got break even, slightly negative with commissions, positive day, and then a big negative day today, 180. All three of the strategies obviously lost there today. So I would say that the NQ, which is the Rob reversal, it's got 2 wins, 1 loss, so that one's in the positive. But oil and gold are lagging down. Now the discretionary side is currently up $324 for the 4 days. Again, trading just 5 micros. And again, guys, the dollar amount to me isn't so important. I know some people will say that, but in a challenge like this, it's mainly about showing you guys the strategy and what it is that I'm looking at. This just quantifies it in a dollar amount. This is just position sizing. On my live account, I'm usually taking 2 contracts. If I have a secondary position that I see on the chart, I'll usually enter in with 1 contract and then use that secondary contract if I need to. And so this one should be, average win is $90. Win ratio is 100% for the 4 days. We've had 4 days, 4 trades, 4 A+ setups, no losses. So we've got plus 46, plus 140, plus 46, and plus $90 for the challenge. So far, so great. I am liking this challenge. I think it's hopefully showing you guys what I see in the morning every single morning, and how I kind of go about really trying to take just super A+ trades throughout, in the day, and that might only be 1. I'd like to have 2 trades per day, but if I get 1 solid winner, I am super happy with that. I mean, you can make a living off of that very easily. All right, that's what I got for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I got a pretty crazy schedule with our kids' sports, but I totally forgot about the midweek review on Wednesday. Completely my fault. I've just been, you guys got to see the setup. I should just do a video on my trade setup, or my trading station setup here. It's pretty freaking awesome. So I was able to add another monitor up here, which has made my life really easy. So now I can actually, I keep doing the wrong thing. With a click of the thing, I can kind of switch between the 2 charts now, which is really nice. I don't have to be clicking and hoping that I'm just, not recording on the right screen. So it's gotten much, much nicer, much easier for me to do. So look out for my new weekly levels, bands, and tradable levels on
Sunday. And if you plotted the tradable levels from last Sunday's video, I'm sure you guys are pretty happy with them. Take care, everybody.